Bill was onto something here. After all, what is in a name? Letters, sounds, maybe a roll of the tongue. It doesn't really mean much as long as it performs. You can call me what you want, just don't call me late to supper. This week, we've got an indicator named MBFX timing, which sounds legitimate, but we discovered its true identity as the Zurich RSX, and it's a user-submitted indicator all the way from Nigeria, courtesy of Thomas P. Thanks for cluing us into this, Thomas. We appreciate it. The Zurich RSX comes to us from another trading megastar, Mark Zurich. He came onto the scene in the late 80s and developed a nice collection of trading concepts over the next few years, some of which we'll be looking into for future profiling. The Zurich RSX is a derivative of the well-known relative strength indicator simply known as the RSI, developed by J. Wells Wilder Jr. in 1978, so there's a bit of history in trading royalty to appreciate. Sadly, Mr. Wilder passed in 2021. He authored such concepts as the average true range, ATR, probably the most important indicator in the world, the average directional index, ADX, directional movement index, DMI, moving average convergence divergence, otherwise known as the MACD, and the stop and reverse, SAR, in addition to the RSI. What makes this version different is how smooth the updated version is by removing much of the market noise. You can see how this calls signals better than the original when we set the period value to the same number. So, today we're looking at a below chart, color change, confirmation indicator. We mentioned that this indicator is a color change. However, we would be remiss if we did not fully explain how to decipher the signals. We're going to take a quick side trip explaining this. I promise it'll be quick and painless. Then we can get to the good stuff. The first thing we'll do is define the signal because it's not a simple red to green or green to red. There is a yellow candle which appears between the color change. This is a heads up that a possible signal is coming. However, there are instances where a second yellow appears. This indicates that conditions for a signal have not been met and you need to continue holding fast. This necessitated taking a closer look at the yellow part of the signal line. We'll quickly go through the steps and then show a brief real-time video where you can see what you need to be aware of before considering the signal. This information is also in the blog if you need to look at this a little more carefully. Here, we see a yellow signal has posted after a sell condition indicated by the red portion of the signal line. Now we've got a green signal. It is important that you wait until this closes or becomes very close to closing near the end of the trading day before making decisions. Once that first green closes, you now have an accurate signal and next steps are considered. We'll examine another scenario. Here, we've got another yellow, so you're on notice that something may be in the works. However, neither a short nor long condition presented itself during the period, so a second yellow printed and you'll do nothing. Never assume anything will happen. No crystal ball and all that jazz. Here, we have a fresh long signal. Did you notice that it was not a short following along? This is proof positive why you need to exercise your trading psychology and find patience. Let the trade come to you. Now the green signal is in the history books. You've got your entry or next step candle. Before you watch this short live action video, be sure you understand what we described. If you're a bit confused, go back a few seconds and watch it again. We'll pick it up here. Currently, we've got a long condition as described by the green signal line. The next candle has printed with the yellow signal line, meaning that change may be in the works. Okay, so now we've got a red printing, but that period is still active, so don't assume it'll become a short signal. Now it's back to yellow, so no short signal, and you've got to wait. And the next signal has opened by printing green, but we don't go yet. You've got to ensure that it is in fact a full-on long signal. So you'll wait until the next candle opens, confirming the long signal. Alrighty then, now that we've explained all that, let's get to the good stuff. We'll pick it up right here at the start of the video. We changed the length to 14 since the default value of 7 would have been somewhat unmanageable and probably put you to sleep. We're starting off with yellow and red signals, indicating that a change and possible short may be impending. Let's see what we can see. Alrighty, we've got a confirmed short signal, so we'll jump in and see where it goes. Okay, we've got the yellow signal, then a green, followed by our confirmation, so we're in for the long trade. Now we've got a fresh yellow followed by the red, and it's confirmation time. In we go for the short. So far, these are some nice looking trades. We've got the next signal grouping for a long trade. Let's see if we can keep this streak going. Still looking pretty good. We've got a good exit and back into a short trade. Still going strong. We're liking what we see here. Good entries, decent exits. Let's see what's up next. Okay, our first loser. It's fine, just mark it up and move on. Up next is a short. There was a quick move down, probably enough to pull profits on the first half of your trade before price backed over itself. Half of something is better than all of nothing, am I right? Another loser here, but did you notice how reactive this indicator is to price change? With better settings, you may have weathered that bump and stayed in the previous short trade. Here is a great example why this indicator would make a superb C1. It's quick to react to price action. If you recall other slower profiled C2 indicators, this entire move down would have been captured before an exit signal popped up at the bottom of this run down. Food for thought. And we'll pause here to comment. Notice the initial long signal all the way at the bottom. That gave you a super signal to go long. So, as before, there were a few stops and starts along the way, but a slower C2 would have kept you in for most of that run. Now, a fresh short signal. Let's see how we do. We had a great entry to capture the move down, and you would have definitely pulled in the first half of your trade. The second part would have been closed by your trail before the exit indicator printed its signal. Big fast moves can be tricky, but with the right tools, they won't keep you up at night. We actually would have been in for that first big blue candle, but the recording didn't get that second confirmation green, so it's late by a period. All good though, because watching it real time, you would have gotten in and taken it up for some nice profits. And now the short. We've got a similar scenario here where the ride down had a few signal changes. A good C2 would have kept you in. Coincidentally, we've got a good collection of those in the library. Did you see that? After the yellow, a red printed momentarily and then changed back to green. A great example of why we wait until the signal is confirmed. We'll show that part again in super slow-mo, but we'll speed it up, otherwise it's like watching paint dry. Okay, we'll start it off here. We went back and recorded it at a tick level so we could see exactly what you might see if tracking this real time. Here, we see that the yellow has turned to red. We don't act on it because the candle is still working. And now it's back to yellow, meaning that the conditions for the signal are not quite there yet, so we wait. And back to green, meaning that price action has continued in the same direction as the initial long signal. We'll resume the video now. Did you catch that? It did it again. Green to yellow to red, back to yellow, and finally back to green. If you missed it, go back a few seconds and check it out. And finally, we've got a short signal after all that messing around. Love this indicator. Good trade there. Profits for the summer beach trip? Interesting moment here. This fast C1 called the entry, but your baseline in C2 probably would have kept you out, so you may have saved yourself a loss on that long. This was something that we could really sink our teeth into. Taking an older indicator and updating it for a different market is something that ticks a few boxes. Be sure you carve out a little downtime for testing this one. It could just be your newest sharp tool. Be sure to download it for free on the website. It'll be listed as MBFX timing in the directory. The link is in the video's description, as is the blog and some other goodies. No way. No financial advice given here. You don't need it, and most of it won't make you any better. Trust in yourself, follow the path with fidelity, and it'll come to you. Our only goal is to make you a better trader.